on today's City Beat. Since the 1920s, Sherlock Holmes has been one of film's most iconic characters. Let's take a look back at some of the actors who have played this super sleuth. Then we'll head over to New York City and meet author Caitlin Puccio in her book The Adventures of Celia Kay. Then we'll check out the new colors for a new year of fashion.
Hello and welcome to City Beat, where we have the latest in art, culture, entertainment, fashion, and lifestyle. Every Monday, we go from Shanghai to New York and Los Angeles to bring you some of the coolest stuff from around the world. You can always scan our QR code or check our official WeChat account for all your City Beat updates. I'm your host, Lisa Zhou. From the classic stories from Sir Arthur Conan Doyle to television and film, Sherlock Holmes remains one of history's most classic characters. Today, we'll take a look back at some of the actors who have played the super sleuths over the years and list some of our favorites.
What the hell are you doing?
Bored.
What?
Bored!
No.
Bored!
For this sleuth living on Baker Street, everything but social skills seems to be elementary.
You promised to keep him safe. You promised.
Sherlock Holmes is once again returning to the big screen, taking his place among the countless Sherlock films sprinkled throughout movie history.
You'll have a past, Watson. Ghosts. They're the shadows that define our every sunny day.
I need my self-confidence, Watson. I must be able to trust my instinct, or what have I done?
In fact, according to the Guinness Book of World Records, the character Sherlock Holmes has most consistently been brought back to the screen. Since the 1920s, over 75 actors have played the classic detective in over 200 different films and TV series. Today, we'll look back at some of the most classic Sherlock Holmes in film history. Jeremy Brett.
My mind rebels at stagnation. Give me problems.
Sherlock Holmes began appearing on
Give me
screen
work.
in the 1920s, and Jeremy Brett was the first actor to really bring the character to life.
And I'm in my proper atmosphere. Then how do you account for the bullet that is so obviously
He's
struck
considered the
window
definitive
frame?
Sherlock Holmes. It helps that he spent most of his time on screen solving
George.
crimes,
However
appearing
did you see
in
that?
41
Because
different
Dr. Carthew,
stories.
I looked for it. And when did the first
Brett is
cloud
notable for
cover
his
the
wit
sun
and mannerisms,
of this
which also
great
made his
atmosphere?
Holmes especially compelling.
You have a way of putting things, Mr. Holmes.
And you have a way of prevaricating with your answers, Mr. Cubitt.
Holmes?
In the last episode of The Adventure of Sherlock Holmes, the Dying Detective, Brett was so sick in real life that his condition perfectly matched the condition of Sherlock in the TV series. A few days after finishing filming, Jeremy Brett passed away. His era of Sherlock Holmes had come to an end, but he's still seen as the greatest Sherlock Holmes in history.
And when a clever man turns his brain to crime, it's the worst.
Basil Rathbone.
Mrs. Courtney. So we meet again. No, I shouldn't do that if I were you, Colonel Cavanaugh.
I must congratulate you, Mr. Holmes. You're far more clever than I thought.
Becoming the benchmark for any actor attempting to play Sherlock Holmes on screen, Basil Rathbone has played the sleuth in 14 Hollywood films, made between 1939 and 1946, and in a radio series.
In the interest of democratic government, I shall be happy to do my utmost to see that His Majesty reaches Rovenia in safety.
Of course, that's partially because he has the perfect look. His deerstalker and cape outfit have managed to stay with the character for generations. Appearing in over a dozen Sherlock Holmes adventures, Rathbone portrayed him as an energetic sleuth that was more than a man.
Hello. Our enemies acted promptly and ruthlessly.
In 2014, he was voted as the second greatest Sherlock Holmes next to Jeremy Brett.
Brunette, young, beautiful.
Well, I'm in fact, you're right, but how'd you know?
Brunettes. And I pay sufficient credit to your good taste.
Robert Downey Jr. Film critics say that although Guy Ritchie's directorial style might not be quite best fit for an update on the legendary detective, but Sherlock Holmes benefits from the elementary appeal of a strong performance from Robert Downey Jr.
Mr. Holmes, apologies for summoning you like this. I'm sure it's quite a mystery as to where you are and who I am.
As to where I am.
While this portrayal by the Iron Man himself takes place in the 19th century, it feels especially modern. That's thanks to Downey's recasting of Holmes as not only a wild eccentric, but also as a mischievous, fist-throwing action star who can think about his exact moves in bullet-fast time. As most critics will attest, no one believed Downey could pull it off, but thankfully he proved them wrong.
Why would I not be invited to my own brother's country home?
Watson, now you're not making any sense. You're not human.
And the Golden Globe goes to Robert Downey Jr., Sherlock Holmes.
Sherlock Holmes received mostly positive critical reactions, praising the story and Downey's performance as the main character, winning Downey the Golden Globe Award for Best Actor in a Musical or a Comedy.
If you start playing violins, I will tear this joint apart.
Benedict Cumberbatch
Do you mind if I get that? Oh, no, please. You've got the rest of your life. Hello?
He's cluing for looks.
For young audiences, Benedict Cumberbatch's version of Sherlock is probably the most approachable because the portrayal has been designed for the 21st century, placing him in present-day London.
Mr. Holmes.
When you're speaking, but it's usually subtext. Oh, for God's sake.
3 seasons of the series has been released, with the 3rd series becoming the UK's most watched drama since 2001.
Thank you, that was...
I've still got questions
What now? I'm in shock. Look, I've got a blanket.
Sherlock?
And I just...
Freeing the character from the traditions and restrictions of most incarnations, Cumberbatch's Sherlock alternates between stillness and furious bursts of activity, and the viewer always sees the wheels of observation and calculation moving.
We've got ourselves a serial killer. I love those. There's always something to look forward to.
This portrayal is also noteworthy for Holmes' inability to deal with life outside of work.
Good evening, Mycroft. Try not to start a war before I get home. Nobody does good.
I'm their consultant. This is Miss Watson. She is my consultant / housekeeper in my personal ballet. She keeps me from doing heroin. Bodyguard.
In addition to the classic portrayals of Sherlock Holmes, there are also some interesting remakes worth mentioning. In the CBS series Elementary, starring Johnny Lee Miller and Lucy Liu, Dr. Watson has become a woman for the first time.
You already know I favor you.
It was met with some criticism, given it followed closely on the heels of the BBC modern adaptation. After the premiere, it was picked up for a full season and later an extra 2 episodes.
May I make coffee?
Thank you.
The series has since been well received by critics who have praised the performance's writing and novel approach to the source material. Some audiences even joked it would have been even better if it wasn't named Under Sherlock.
Tell me it's in a cup.
There are also a Chinese and a Russian version of Sherlock Holmes that could also be pretty interesting.
Mr. Holmes, the goose. The goose, Mr. Holmes.
From the books to the films, Sherlock Holmes is one of history's most iconic characters. His stories have traveled over a century, reaching generation after generation, remaining timeless. And even now, Sherlock shows no signs of slowing down, with new series and remakes coming out each year.
The name's Sherlock Holmes and the address is 221B Baker Street.
Now it's time for a quick break, but when we return, we'll head to New York City to see how one author is out to help kids and their parents.
Coming up next, we'll head over to New York City and meet author Caitlin Puccio.
I am first and foremost a storyteller.
York, we caught up with author Caitlin Puccio for a look at how her new book, The Adventures of Celia Kay, is helping both kids and parents understand the differences in all of us.
It's a new year, and you know what that means, a whole new set of resolutions. If you're looking to be more creative, motivated, and resilient in 2016, there's no better inspiration than author Caitlin Puccio. Her new book, The Adventures of Celia Kay, helps kids understand and cope with celiac disease, food allergies, and food intolerance.
So tell me a little bit about your book, The Adventures of Celia Kay.
Well, I figured as hard as it is for me to deal with having celiac disease or any type of gluten intolerance, it must be that much more difficult for kids. So I wanted to write the book to help them kind of understand what they're going through and just help them cope a little bit.
Growing up in an Italian household, Caitlin was surrounded by all things gluten. She was diagnosed with celiac 3 years ago and became determined to provide a resource that she desperately needed growing up.
Getting your message across to kids through storytelling can be helpful because they might not even know that they're learning something, but when they need to recall that story, they will. I think the biggest challenge for me was finding the balance between the message that I wanted to send and making it light and fun for kids.
Puccio teamed up with Grammy-nominated illustrator Sarah Larnark to give the story of celiac disease a happy ending.
It was a great collaboration between the two of us because I found someone who not only understood and shared my vision, but had this vision of her own, which I thought was important, especially because I'm looking to turn the book into an animated TV series for kids, so the world around Celia Kay was important to really carefully consider.
So parents sit down with their kids, they read this book, or the kids read it independently. How do you want kids to feel after they've connected with this character?
I hope that they'll find that it's not a bad thing. It's just their own personal adventure, kind of like it is for Celia Kay.
When the author's not feeding her appetite for adventure and gluten-free foods, she's hungry for creativity as a writer, producer, and actress.
I was trained as an actress as well, and one of the things that I was taught was to create my world around me fully so that I could fully understand my character. So I did the same thing for Celia Kay in her world so that I could fully get into her head. I am first and foremost a storyteller regardless of my audience, so I try to incorporate that type of literary style into everything that I write.
Her award-winning short film, Circles, that was shot in her very own New York apartment, has been screened at national and international film festivals. Her latest screenplay, Elle, is a Richmond International Film Festival screenplay quarterfinalist. While her children's and adult works may differ in content, the characters share the same level of resilience, much like the author.
The main character in Circles was a teenage girl. She's a very young girl. She's had a terrible tragedy happen to her, so she's trying to come through and she's trying to cope. And Celia Kay has this thing that she's trying to cope with. And she's at a different age, but we're all trying to, we have these things happen, or we experience these things, and we're just trying to kind of get through them, understand them, and not be crushed by them.
And here is the book, so just take me on a little adventure. Let's check out what Celia Kay is doing. So I can see already that she's starting her adventure, and the drawings are great. I mean, it's very like whimsical, but also realistic at the same time.
So here's actually, it's probably my favorite drawing in the book. Celia Kay says that she had cupcakes for breakfast, which no child probably ever does. But so she goes to an ocean bakery and she's fighting this pirate baker. I think parents will get a kick out of it too, because there are a lot of little details that maybe kids won't pick up on so much, but there's a part where Martians are crash landing and the illustrator put in little caution cones, and here they are.
So cute! No stone goes untouched.
Exactly, and that's that detail that I was really looking for.
Well, Caitlin, thank you so much for showing me this book.
Thank you.
Excuse me, I have some reading to do. Reporting from New York, I'm Christy Clements.
Do you want to travel the universe in a spaceship? Do you want to see the flash flood in the desert? Or do you want to dive in the sea and see kelp forests? Well, you can see all that in California Science Center, the most visited museum in West Coast America. This is Dr. Phillips, the curator of the aerospace science at the California Science Center. Welcome.
Yeah, well, thank you. Welcome.
What do you think are some of the most interesting things in California Science Center?
There's so much to see and do here. We have 4 areas. We have a 188,000-gallon
That's
tank.
a lot.
Yeah, that's right, with sharks in it, and that's in an area called ecosystems. You can learn all about ecosystems all around the world. You can visit desert zones. You can visit Arctic areas. You can visit the Rocky Shore. We also have flown space capsules from the Smithsonian Institution National Collection. We have an Apollo Command Module that took astronauts from the United States to meet with astronauts from Russia, or cosmonauts in orbit. And we have a number of wonderful interactive exhibits where people can learn all about transportation. They can learn what makes cars run. We have engineering applications that people can play with. So it's a very hands-on facility, lots and lots of things to do. Plus we have our 3D IMAX film.
Oh, that's amazing.
That's right. And we also have the Space Shuttle Endeavour, which was awarded to us in 2011 and which is now on public display.
Behind me is the star of the California Science Center. It's the Space Shuttle Endeavour. So it's the newest space shuttle that NASA built. It was built in 1992. It has been on 25 missions, and now it's on its 26 missions because it's here to educate kids.
We have a special exhibit called Earth in Concert. That was a collaboration with the Grammy Museum, and it was designed actually to let well-known musicians, artists express their concerns about the environment and how we might go about thinking more conscientiously about the earth, how to protect it. It's our planet, we don't want to mess it up, so yeah.
After visiting the California Science Center, for one moment, I thought I've traveled to different places in the world. Really guys, this is the must-go place in LA. I am Siobhan, and I will see you next week.
The 2016 Shanghai Conservatory of Music New Year's Concert Series has recently kicked off in the city, taking place at the Shanghai Grand Theater. The concert was conducted by famous conductor Chen Sheyang, presenting various styles of classical music and songs from home and abroad.
我们的上海音乐学院的交响乐团是有一个非常悠久的历史啊，它的人员的构成是我们上海音乐学院管弦系的最优秀的同学。我们的这一次的曲目的考虑呢，肖斯塔科维奇的《流氓》电影的一个配音的一个组曲，也是一个宣传了爱国主义的一个情怀，当然有一个爱情的这种主线在里面穿插，一定让我们对2016年充满了一个美好的期待。
Another big highlight for the concerts was promoting new and young musicians. Chen Jiayi, who just won first prize at the 2015 Chinese Music Golden Bell Award violin competitions, performed at the New Year's concert for the first time.
演的是萨拉萨蒂的《流浪者之歌》，这是普罗大众都非常喜欢、非常熟悉的快板，就是一个极快的快板，然后一直推向高潮到结束。所以我觉得这个曲子还是很有气氛的。紧张肯定是会有，但是我觉得只要在台上想着音乐，然后把自己想要的表达出来就好。
It's always a great way to celebrate the new year, with new music and joyful melodies.
In fashion, each year comes with a color, with the Pantone color matching system giving us a preview of what to expect. But for 2016, it seems like we're getting 2 colors. Let's check out some of the year's early trends and find out what's new for the new year.
Fashion is always changing. The second you're in, the next you might be out. But if you can catch the right pose of the right color, you're on your way to winning the battle. Every year, Pantone, the world-renowned authority on color, will release a Color of the Year for fashion industry. But hey, what is Pantone?
The Pantone company is best known for its Pantone matching system, a color space used in a variety of industries, primarily printing, but sometimes in the manufacture of colored paint, fabric, and plastics. And annually, Pantone declares a particular color of the year. Twice a year, the company hosts in the European capital a secret meeting of representatives from various nations' color standard groups. After 2 days of presentations and debates, they choose a color for the following year.
For the very first time, Pantone introduces 2 shades as the Color of the Year 2016. They are Rose Quartz and Serenity.
Rose quartz is a persuasive yet gentle tone that conveys compassion and a sense of composure. Serenity is weightless and airy, like the expanse of the blue sky above us, bringing feelings of respite and relaxation even in turbulent times.
And what's so interesting about these 2 colors is that they've actually been used pretty often in classic oil paintings. Can you believe that?
From the Northwest Passage by Sir John Avery Millais to Young Women by Ordelin Breeden, Found by Dante Gabriel Rossetti, to Margarita by Sir Edward Burne-Jones, and Frank Canal by Claude Monet, artists have already accurately combined these 2 colors together.
Well, artists have given us a good example on how to match these 2 colors. And now let's see how they're going to influence our lifestyle. If you think it's a little bit complicated to find some fashion matches on your own, you can turn to runway shows. And some street looks are also awesome, but the key is how to match the 2 colors.
Rose quartz can go with white. It's actually quite safe, and together they can make the perfect look. And it can go with gray. It's a bit harder. You can wear a great knitwear inside and a rose quartz overcoat to create an elegant look. Of course, it can go well with black too, so it can help you create a formal and professional figure. And for Serenity, it goes well with white, black, and gray. And you can try light tan as well. It works really well for Asian people. But the rule is to keep simple.
And now you have another reason to act young. With the perfect clothing matching, of course, you cannot miss your makeup.
On the runway show for Chanel's 2016 Spring-Summer collection, the blue eye makeup was a great example. With a pink overcoat, I have to say, it's amazing. But that makeup can be too exaggerated for daily life. And for Asian girls, it's quite hard to wear a makeup with Serenity and rose quartz. But of course, we have solutions. Rose quartz can be a perfect eyeshadow color to make you look lovely and girly. But don't do too much, just a little bit of pink color can give it a better effect. Light color eyeshadows might make your eyes look swollen, especially when it comes to blue. So why not try a thin Serenity eyeline on your Perpetra Inferiors? You will look awesome. Or you can try to use a Serenity mascara and put a little highlight on the end of your eyelashes. It will make you look like a fairy.
After you wear a Color of the Year makeup, if you are brave enough, you can try dyeing your hair in the same theme.
For rose quartz hair, it could make you look like strawberry-flavored ice cream or a macaron. But just remember to keep your hair light, and it will definitely bring you a few second glances. For Serenity hair, it might give you a mysterious feel, making you look very impressive. Or you can add a little bit rose quartz to it, making it a bit more unique.
Well, now you have a whole new look, but why not give your home a brand new look as well?
This time, Pantone invited some experts to create several ways that might inspire you on how to decorate your home. For rose quartz, if you paint your walls this color, it will make your room look like a flower. Or you could choose some smaller decorative items in rose quartz to add a cute and girly atmosphere to your home. For Serenity, if you paint your walls with it, it might make you feel a bit more relaxed after a day of hard work.
Well, I hope you'll like our various tips on this year's theme colors. And with the new year here, just get ready for a whole new year of fashion.
Well, that's all the time we have for today's show, but join us tomorrow for all the latest in art, culture, fashion, lifestyle, and entertainment from across Shanghai. And always remember to scan our QR code and check our official WeChat for all your City Beat updates. I'm your host, Lisa Zhe. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.
Next on City Beat. Behind the cover art for pop star Leslie Chung, Alan Chen is one of China's biggest designers. Stay tuned.